Hi, I'm Jilene Kortenhorn, also known as the Nanapreneur online, and welcome to Nana's Kitchen. Today we are going to make the 1, 2, 3 bacon cheeseburger. It is going to be 1, 2, 3, that simple. I have here a 5-pound pre-wrapped hamburger meat. Okay, and then what we're going to do with that is you cut off the end, slit it down the bag here, and you drop it in this. After you're done doing that, I have 2 cups of shredded cheese. Now it's a multiple flavored cheese, but if you don't want a multiple flavored cheese, you can just put cheddar or maybe just provolone or whatever you'd like. I have 3 different cheeses in here. I also bought the pre-cooked bacon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm up the bacon a little longer than normal to make it crispy, let it dry and cool, and then I'm going to crumble it up and then also put it into here. So the meat, 1, the cheese, 2, the bacon, 3, squish it all up. I am going to use plastic gloves. I just find it easier to be able to rinse, just whip them off, done, in the garbage. Instead of trying to scrub your hands and under your fingernails, yeah. Then I have 2 different hamburger patty squishers, I guess what you want to call it. I have one here that's round, so that you would take your wax paper, roll it up in a ball, fold it in half, and then lay it in between here. Or I have my grandfather's invention that he made. So you do the same thing, get a round ball, like maybe 2 golf balls together, put that in here, fold it over the paper, then you lay it in here, and then you squish it down, and that gives you a patty. So that's how I am going to make mine. Okay, so are you ready? Get your meat, your cheese, and your bacon all set. Put it in the bowl, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye. Okay, we're back. So what I did was I cut one end of the plastic or the container off and zipped it up, and then I rolled it out. And I took it out and I kind of broke it up into pieces so that it sits in the bowl a little easier. Then I went and I took 6 or 7 pieces of bacon, I like bacon, onto a plate. Microwaved it for the first time of 45 seconds. Let it cool for maybe 10-15 seconds, and put it in for another 45 seconds. What this does is makes it really, really crispy for the pre-cooked bacon. I'll let it cool a little bit, kind of blotted off the oil or the grease a little bit. Then I took 1 piece, take 1 piece like this, and then you cut it down the center. Some of it will break off, just pick it up, put it in the bowl. And then what I did is I took a scissors. I find it easier and you get better pieces. And I just cut it into little pieces into the bowl. Okay? You can have them as big as you want. You can have them as little as you want. It's all up to you. I'm doing, and if it crumbles, that's okay too. Just throw it back in the bowl. And this, and then put this in the bowl. So then just do that, okay? Go and do your bacon. Make sure now you're careful that you don't burn your fingers when you take it out. Do let it cool for about 2 minutes at least so that you can pick it up with your fingers. Then just cut the bacon up, and I will see you in the next video. Okay? Bye. Hey. Okay, so now that you got the bacon all chopped up in little bites and pieces that you like, see, like that. Okay, what I did was I just took a little handful of it, sprinkled it on top, then I took the cheese and I also sprinkled that on top, because then you're going to just take a little bit at a time and you're going to squish it together and squish it together. So this is probably the harder part of it, But after you do all this mixing together and all these pieces, you are going to have 1, 2, 3 bacon cheeseburgers on hand anytime you want. And way less expensive than when you buy them already pre-made in the store. This is a 5-pound package that I bought, and I used about 2 cups of cheese, and I think I used about 6 strips of bacon. I mean, if you want to use more, use more. You want to use less, use less. That's entirely up to you, but that's the basics that I've been using. So then you mix this up really well. When you think you're doing okay with it, all mixed up kind of well, you know, then you go and you dump the rest of it in. There. And this, put the rest of that in. There you go. It's okay to be messy. That's the fun part. Okay? And then more mixing. So mix it at least for about 5 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. Maybe that's an exaggeration. But you want to make sure that you don't have any pieces of the meat, you know, when you make your hamburger balls, that you don't have any food, you know, any cheese or bacon in it. So make sure you look at what you're doing, you do some squishing around. When you're happy with it, that's when you can start taking and making little round meatball pieces and squishing them in your hamburger squisher, or whatever you want to call it. Okay? All right. Next step, start squishing. Okay? Bye. Okay, we're back. Okay, everything is mixed in the bowl. Okay, looks pretty darn good. I did add some pepper for seasoning, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can do it while you're cooking. I just kind of went at it. There isn't any specific amount. I just pepper, mixed it, pepper. So, up to you. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is squish them. So, what I did is, I have 2 different versions here, just to show you, because it's entirely up to you on how you would like to squish your hamburgers. Some people like them really thin, some people like them really thick. Some people don't care what they look like, you know, kind of oblong, and some like them like perfectly round. So I found really super handy is using an ice cream scoop. So what I did is I just scooped like this, kind of, you know, nothing perfect. So here's 1, and I kind of filled it again, and here's 2, slopped it together there. Okay, now that you have that, now what you really need to pay attention to is molding the hamburger meat together. You need to knead it together as much as possible so that when you squish it down, it won't separate. Okay? So this is going to take a little bit too, just kind of like Play-Doh. You know, when you squish it down like Play-Doh, it just kind of, that's, okay. So squish it down. When you think that you got it really good and it's all smooth and everything all the way around, you know, go together. So I have this cute little contraption. I got it at Goodwill. Absolutely love Goodwill. There's awesome things, older things, newer things, recycled stuff. Love it. So little cover comes off like a handle, push down. It has these slots in it, or grooves. Then this little tray that comes up. And then there's another little slot in here. Now, I tried it without it. It was hard to have it flop out, you know, and get pull on it. So I'm just going to leave this little tray in, which is probably how it's supposed to work. There's no instructions. I had just found it at Goodwill with nothing, no instructions. So putting the tray in, then you take your meatball, like a tennis ball size, plop it right in the middle, take the cover, handle, and squish it down. Now I stopped when this tray part here was flush. That's how I did it. And you can see just a little bit around the edges when it fills the groove of it. So you just squish it down, gently remove it, because it'll stick, see? sticks together, and very carefully let it pull up gently, and it'll flop down. And then do the same thing here, see? Very carefully. And then you have a really good looking hamburger. And then what you do is I made this one already here. Put it on wax paper, fold it over. Take another piece of wax paper, lay it down on here like that, and then fold it over. So what you're going to do is you're just going to like make all of them. Just make them all at the same time, all at once. And then if you're going to do it like at supper time, which I'm going to make about 6 of these tonight for supper, the rest of them I am going to take and I will fold them like this, you know, like a little sandwich, whatever. Stack them on top of each other, and then I'm going to put them in a Ziploc bag and stack them on top of each other, side to side, you know, up 4 or 5 of them, and then I'm going to put them in the freezer. So what the wax paper is going to do is going to be totally easy to be able to break off 1, break off 2, break off however many you want to do, so that they're not all stuck together and you got to like do them all at the same time. So, there you are. Ta-da! Okay, now for the next one. So the next one I'm going to show you is do the same thing, scoop it up. Maybe not so many if you're using a contraption like this. Not so much, because what's going to happen is it's going to ooze out the sides because it doesn't have anything formed to keep it inside. So again, make sure that you mold it together. Do a bunch of squishing like you would with a Play-Doh, because this one here is actually going to split a little bit if you go slowly. It takes a little practice. I mean, you don't have to be perfect at it. Hamburgers are hamburgers unless you need that round hamburger, you know. Okay, there you go. You got your tennis ball size lump. Take your wax paper, fold it in half already. Lift this up. Put it in there. Now put the ball just a little bit further back behind. And then make sure that you squish it all the way down to this wood part. There we go. Alright. See? See, I didn't go far enough back. So my ridge got kind of cut off. And I probably have too much hamburger. But I like a big hamburger, because sometimes they shrink up a little bit. So it's okay. It's a little deformed, but that's alright. It doesn't really bother me. It's already in the wax paper, so I'm just going to add it to the collection. So I'm going to make some of these. I am going to make some of these. Put 6 of them aside so that we can do those tonight. And then I'm going to freeze the rest of them. So, I have a little project ahead of me, and if you've been keeping up with me, you have a little project ahead of you too. So, are you ready? I'm going to finish up. You finish up. And I just wanted to thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoy making your new 1, 2, 3 bacon cheeseburger cheat sheet. And thank you for coming to Nana's Kitchen. I will see you soon.